Welcome to Meet the Candidate with your host, Sue Lonnie Madsen. Meet the Candidate is your opportunity to see local candidates and hear about the experiences that have shaped their lives. Meet the Candidate is a nonpartisan community project brought to you by our friends at Greater Spokane Incorporated, Ponderosa Republican Women's Club, We Believe, We Vote, and Better Spokane. Now, here's Sue Lonnie.
Well, welcome to Meet the Candidate. My guest for this session is Cathy McMorris Rodgers, who is currently serving at the 5th Congressional District as a representative and running for the office. Welcome, Cathy.
Good to be with you.
Interviewing everybody the same way and starting with a little bit about where you grew up and activities as a child, and we'll go on from there.
Okay. Proud to be fifth generation in the Pacific Northwest. Both sides of my family headed west in the mid-1850s in search of a better life. And I still carry on that pioneering spirit in that I'm continuing to search and want that better life for everyone in Eastern Washington. Born and raised on the farm, my family owned an orchard and fruit stand. I was the first in my family to graduate from college. For me, it meant working my way through college. I had 4-H animals at the fair, sold them, saved that money so I could go to college one day. That was really my parents' dream for me. Some of those earliest jobs were working at McDonald's. I worked at a motel in Colville at one point.
I lasted 8 days as a motel maid and I quit.
I made 6 weeks.
Oh, yeah. That is tough
that
work.
That was one when I decided that was certainly what I didn't want to do. But grateful for that, and got involved in politics right out of college, working on a Family Friends campaign.
That's a good place to start. And one of the things that I also ask folks about is their education. You went to college in Florida, I think,
yes.
But then you did some advanced education.
My undergraduate degree is from Pensacola Christian College in Pensacola, Florida. That was a whole new world for me. I'd never been east of the Mississippi. I'd never been where there was humidity, but it was. I'm grateful for that education. And then I did go on. A few years later, I graduated in 2002 with my executive MBA from the University of Washington. And that was just a great program for those who had been in the workforce for a period of time to be able to go back to school and go through an MBA program where you really focus on more leadership, management. But it was also just great being with other people from the Northwest that were going through the program.
Okay, it sounds cool. We also talk about a lot on this program about where people have traveled, because travel is another source of education for everyone.
Yes. Well, yeah, I've had some amazing opportunities to travel. I've been backpacking in many countries with my brother, who has an adventurous spirit, and we've backpacked through Europe and other parts. I've been to China and Japan, but as a member of Congress, I've had the chance to travel to places that you wouldn't get to go otherwise. I've been to Iraq. I've been to India. You'd be able to go there, but I've been to Afghanistan. I've been on it was a very special delegation, actually, that went to Afghanistan over Mother's Day. This was a few years ago now. Members of Congress, women, 3 Republicans, 3 Democrats, who went to Afghanistan to support our troops, and especially our women that were serving over Mother's Day weekend, but also visited a women's prison, a women's school or girls' school, hospital. It was very different. It was going back in time in a very different culture, and I'm grateful to have been able to see that myself. And from that, I co-chaired with Donna Edwards, who was on the trip, a Democrat out of Maryland. We co-chaired the Afghan Women's Task Force for several years after that to continue the relationships that we had built and just recognizing the importance of mentors, and especially as women that were in leadership positions, maintaining those relationships.
Wow. Well, since that was over Mother's Day, I know that you have a family with you living with you in Washington, D.C. While you're serving, and tell me a little bit about the family.
Yes. So I have 3 energetic children. Cole's 11, Grace is 7, and Bryn is 4. I was single when I was elected to Congress, but grateful to be married to Brian. He's tremendously supportive. And we did make the decision to move the family to D.C. during the school year, just to keep our family closer together. I tried it for a period of time with Cole. He went through the Guild School here. He has Down syndrome. Grateful for the Guild School, and he started school here, and I just found it was just too much time apart. So we have them in D.C. during the school year, and then they come home for the summer. They're very excited. They'll be coming home in a couple of weeks, which means they'll be here for the summer, and then I bring them home at other times throughout the year. I had Cole with me just recently for the Armed Forces Torchlight Parade, and it was lots of fun.
I'm glad that they get back. I understand that since it's summer, there's time to go out to the lake and do some of that hiking.
Oh, yes. That is a favorite activity.
Yeah. Well, we're kind of coming up on that. Well, one thing I've asked a lot of candidates, I think I forgot to ask you because I've known you for a long time, but what prompted you to run for elected office?
Well, like a lot of women, it's interesting that, someone else tapped me on the shoulder and encouraged me to run for office, and I'm grateful for that. But I've become more aware how important it is to encourage other women, especially, to run. That for a lot of women, it's not something that they just wake up one day and say, "Oh, I'm going to run for office." But we have an important perspective and voices that we need to be a part of the decision making. So I'm grateful for that. And when I ran for Congress, it was really George Nethercutt who called me when he was running for the U.S. Senate and asked if I'd ever considered it, and we had that initial conversation.
Took the nudge. Well, we're coming up on towards the end of that time, and I get you the last question that every candidate gets on this program. How do you see the duties of this elected office that you're seeking, and why should voters choose you?
Well, being a representative for this district has been a tremendous honor for me. And as a representative, I believe it's most important that you listen to the people of the district, and you listen to their concerns, and you really do your best to gain understanding. There's so many different issues, and that's where I make it a priority, and make it a priority to travel around this district, to visit the communities. It's a large district from the Canadian border down to the Oregon border. Whole community roundtables, town halls. I'm actually someone that has more town halls than most members of Congress. I'm in the top 50 in Congress and one of the top in Washington State because that's a priority for me. But not just listening, then it's leading. And I'm proud of my record of results. I'm proud to be someone that actually gets things done. Just this year, I've had 9 bills pass the House, 5 signed into law. All of these bills have enjoyed bipartisan support. And this is legislation that makes a difference for the people of Eastern Washington. The Teaching Health Center, GME, which is the residency program for getting doctors in rural areas and into the VA, that's a priority for me. We got that signed into law. We got it expanded. We doubled the funding for the GME program so that it's really going to be more robust for family care and psychiatry. Saving our dams, that legislation, hydropower, the ABLE Act for those with disabilities so that you can go explore work without it impacting your benefits. Maybe get an internship or a part-time job. Take that and put it into an ABLE account. Secure rural schools for our timber-dependent communities. Very proud that we got the timber management reforms, and we fixed fire borrowing. All these years we're facing larger and larger catastrophic fires, and we finally fixed the fire borrowing so that we're not robbing from the management accounts at the Forest Service to pay for fighting fires. This is all a record of success and results for Eastern Washington, and I am committed to continuing to get things done.
Okay. Well, Cathy, I'm so glad you could join us in the studio today here in Spokane, and good luck on your campaign.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching Meet the Candidate. Spokane Talks thanks our community-minded partners, Greater Spokane Incorporated, the Ponderosa Republican Women's Club, We Believe We Vote, and Better Spokane for helping make Meet the Candidate possible.